So there's supposed to be a pretty good rainstorm coming in. It's supposed to last, I think, about 36 hours, 48 hours. Went down to local hardware store, got some 6mm plastic, 200 feet of it, and I used half of it on the back side and half of it on the front side. This is gonna keep out as much rain as possible. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the wind doesn't kick up too strong. Hoping it doesn't, the wind gusts aren't too bad. This is only stapled down, so it's not super tight. And on this edge over here, just along with the other edge, I couldn't come all the way down the edge because I have no way of climbing up the roof to staple it down. So it's stapled down really good on top and really good on the bottom and parts of the sides, as much as I could reach. The south side didn't get as much plastic because it has that shed dormer roof. So I came down the peak and then I overlapped the part that I put on the shed dormer. So hopefully the water comes down. If it comes off the shed dormer, it's gonna hit the OSB down here, but it won't go inside on the plywood floor. The bottom floor is concrete floors, so I'm not worried about it as much. I can sweep that out pretty easy. What I'm mainly worried about is the plywood getting saturated. It's rained twice so far in the past, I'd say 3 days, and that plywood's just getting more and more saturated. So I figured it was time to get some plastic down, get this somewhat protected, even though they say it's not a big deal. I'd rather have it covered than not. So this is as much as I got done yesterday. This morning it had already rained a little bit, so I can't get back up there and do the sides anymore because it's too slick. So we'll see what comes. For now, I've got to make a dump run, get some of this garbage thrown away, and then we'll be back and we'll get some plumbing done. So hopefully you can see this. I am a total of 3 pieces into the plumbing of this house above the slab. And I'm basically starting this because I can't get anybody out here. Everybody is booked. Even the plumbers that did my under slab plumbing and they said they'd make room for me, they say they're so booked it's gonna be 2 to 3 weeks just to squeeze me in. So I'm gonna try and get some of this done myself by doing some research online and see what I come up with. I'm not going to glue anything together until I get my inspector to come out and look at it and tell me that, you know, if he thinks it's done right or what I need to change. I've already talked to him about a lot of it, so I've got a really good idea, and I'm also using the internet to help me out. But the first problem is this 2x4 wall, and then I have this 2x8 above it to support the wall for the bathroom, the outside wall of the bathroom. It's not deep enough. I should have made this wall 2x6. I was tempted to, and then I was looking at the plumbing and I'm like, well, that plumbing in a 2-inch pipe, that'll go through a 2x4, no problem. If this is a 2x6 wall, I could have notched it and this would be flush across here. But I've got to chisel out a bunch of material right here in this 2x8 so that this pipe can squeeze through. I mean, it looks like I probably need about a 1/2 inch, which sounds about right, 1/2 inch material taken out, so that when I put the sheetrock up in this wall, it's not bulging out right there around that pipe. So I'm gonna grab a chisel and start chiseling away. I've got to do this spot right here, and then where the drain comes down for the upstairs bathroom, the upstairs sink, it's gonna be over here, and I'll have the same problem, so I'll go ahead and chisel that place out too, and we'll get the vent and the drain put in there. Well, the next morning, after 2.5 days of working on plumbing and trips to the hardware store to get more plumbing supplies and more pipe. I'm not a plumber, guys. I won't claim to be one, but I think I have this somewhat down. I think it's gonna work. Let me know what you think. If you're a plumber, put something in the comments. I know I've got one of these little T connections over here backwards. I forget where it is. But this is the drains and vents for the fixtures in my house, minus the kitchen sink because that'll have a mechanical vent on it. But I'll give you a quick go around. Let's just see what I've done. This is toilet over here in the corner, kitchen sink, or no, not kitchen sink, bathroom sink. I believe that is a vent to the toilet, the way the plumber had it lined up under the slab. So I'm hoping that works because he knew there was supposed to be a sink there. So before the sink is a vent that goes out to the upstairs sink or drain. That's a drain. I'll get this right at some point. So we got the sink, bathroom sink. Below that is a Y for the drain for the upstairs bathroom sink. And then we have a vent that goes up. I'll take you upstairs and show you the rest of that before I get into the laundry room and master bathroom stuff. So this is looking at it the same direction. We have the vent from that laundry room half bath sink coming up right there, coming across. That's the drain for this bathroom sink, and then vents up out the roof. It's gonna vent up and out the roof right there. I have a 45 on it up there. It's gonna go up to probably a foot and a half, within a foot and a half of the peak of the roof and go out. I want it to be as close to the peak of the roof as possible. It's less snow load that can get piled up behind it and potentially break it off if the snow starts to thaw and then freezes and thaws and freezes and gets those layers of ice and snow and it gets a lot of weight behind it. It can shear a lot of things off. The closer you have things to the peak of your roof, the better off you are. So that's that little system right there. And I'm hoping that's okay. Go back downstairs and show you the washing machine drain and the master bathroom. So the other side of this is a laundry room half bath. We've got the drain right there in the concrete for the master bathroom shower, and this 1.5 inches coming out right here is the vent for that drain. That piece of gray conduit is where the water is going to come into the house. So that's nothing right now. This is a drain for the washing machine. It has a box right there. Drains down. That piece of gray conduit is for PEX tubing to go through to the kitchen sink underneath the slab. So that doesn't matter right now. Master bathroom toilet and a 2-inch vent for that. Now all these coming out of this wall vent up. It might be kind of hard to see, but they all vent up, they all connect together right there, and then go across. Looking past, you have a drain for the master bathroom sink, and that goes up kind of at an angle. I guess it's not supposed to be at an angle, but it is. And all these vents connect together to a 2-inch that goes out into the rafter area. Now, that is a drain for the upstairs toilet, so that's 3-inch. I didn't put the coupler on it. Like I said before, none of this is glued. It's all just stuck together and there so that I can get somebody to come by and say, yeah, it looks good, go ahead and glue it, or you need to fix a bunch of stuff. So that's the coupler for that. 3-inch pipe that goes up to drain the toilet. That's where the toilet is upstairs. Then you have the little piece that comes off at an angle. That's the drain for the shower upstairs. And I know it's kind of steep. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody to see if I 45 it and have it drop in. It's only supposed to drop 1/4 inch per foot, I think. But I'll have to remedy that because it is resting on that post and it's not fully connected to the bathtub yet. But that's a 2-inch vent going out through the wall of the upstairs bathroom. And those 2 vents are gonna connect together and go out the roof. And I'll take you back upstairs to show you that. So here's the 2 pipes that come out. One on that side, one in here. There's the toilet and the shower that's not fully piped in yet. It doesn't look like there's a lot of room here between the toilet and the shower, but there is 16.5 inches, I believe. And I believe all you need is 15 between center of toilet and the wall or a tub or something like that. The reason it's there and not over further is because the height of the ceiling is at an angle. I want to give as much headroom as possible, and I think you have 6.5 feet if it's sitting right there. Now that vent tube and that vent tube it's gonna come up in the rafter area, connect together somewhere about right there, go up to within 1.5 feet of the peak of the roof and go out. And that will conclude all the venting for my house, which is 2 pipes going out the roof. I'm not a plumber, never done this before. Watched some YouTube videos. I have a little book that shows some plumbing work in it, but it's super old, so I don't know if it pertains to everything. My county's pretty lenient and they're willing to work with me pretty good on all this stuff. So I'm gonna try and get one of them to come out and give me like a preliminary inspection. I think they're gonna wanna fill it full of water and test it to make sure it doesn't leak after it's all glued together. So I wanna make sure it's all right before I glue it, and then I have to start cutting things apart and buying more fittings because they're glued and already used. So I'm hoping to get somebody out here. If you see anything that I've screwed up on, anything that won't fly, the only thing I'm not sure about is this vent right here for this toilet. I know a vent for a toilet can be a 2-inch vent, but I don't know because I've added a shower vent to that right there. I don't know if that needs to be 3-inch. It's kind of the reason I cut the bigger hole. One, so I wouldn't have to work so hard at getting it to line up. And 2, if I had to put a 3-inch vent there, I could fairly easily. The only thing about that wall, it's a 2x4 wall, so if I have to put a 3-inch vent there, it's got to go through that, all the way through that, without any couplers, because the couplers won't fit inside that wall. The pipe barely fits inside that wall. So that's what I'm working with. I really don't know much about plumbing. I haven't done the water lines yet, but I'm thinking the water lines will probably be a little bit easier than the vent and drain. Vent and drain. Can't even think straight. It's been a long 3 days. I've done a lot of thinking about how things can be routed, a lot of research on how things are supposed to be, and I still don't think I really have an understanding of it. Well, needless to say, it's been a long 3 days. A lot of looking on the internet, trying to figure things out, measurements, how high the drains have to be, whatever tolerances there are, how many vents I have to have per whatever, how many sinks, how big the vents have to be. The only one question I have is that one vent going out the upstairs bathroom that's venting the toilet and the shower, and then the fixtures down here might need to go to 3-inch. We'll see. It would have been nice to get a plumber out here and help me, but I live I live an hour away from a big box store, so it's hard. You live out in the rural areas, there aren't too many plumbers around, and right now they're booked solid. It's getting toward the end of summer. Everybody's trying to get their projects done, So I don't blame the guys for being booked. The guys that did my under slab plumbing, they're booked out solid, and they've only opened their business a year, maybe a year and a half ago. Really good plumbers, but they're booked out solid, so they couldn't get out for another 2 to 3 weeks to help me with this. So I'm hoping this is going to be good to go. I'm going to try and get the county out here to look at it, give me a prelim inspection. That is if I can't get my plumbers to just swing by and look at it real quick. So if you know anything about plumbing and you see something I've done wrong, something I need to change, put it in the comments, let me know. I'm learning a lot. This house build is way out of my element. I'm more of a car guy, like I've always said, more of a car guy. But I'm learning a lot building this house. And it's challenging at times, but it is a lot of fun. Until next time, guys, go make something.